Happy Friday, y'all! We live and direct.
Yeah.
Y'all come on in here. Hey! Come on in here, y'all. And listen, when you come in, you know what to do. Let us know where y'all are tuning in from. Go ahead and share this. I'm gonna make sure I share it as well. All right, let me do that right now. Let me make sure I am sharing. But happy Friday. Happy Friday. It is good to see everybody when y'all come in. Let us know where you are tuning in from. Let me turn my good old jamming music off. Hey, Renaya is in the building. Happy Friday, Renaya. Renaya, where you tuning in from? Go ahead and share this, please, and thank you, y'all. Renaya, where are you tuning in? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As y'all come in, let us know where you are tuning in from. It is time for another Relationship Friday. Listen, y'all know how we do. Y'all already know. Listen, we already been cracking and talking heck of trash in the backstage with my guests. We got P-Town in the house. Hey, G Bizzle. Raleigh is in the house. Hey, Shatara. And I hope I didn't mess your name up, Shatora from Suffolk. Hey, 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 Suffolk is in the building. Listen, we have already been talking whole heck of trash. Whole heck of trash. Abby is in the building. Norfolk. Listen, if y'all have not done so, go ahead and share this. Invite your friends. Invite your female friends specifically. Fellas, y'all come on in here too and invite your fellas in. But ladies, listen, I got trash to talk to y'all.
We got to talk to you. We got to talk to you.
Got to talk to you because I'm
Talk
sick
to
good.
Got to talk to him.
Yeah, so I got a guy friend Van, and he says sick good, and I'm sick good. Y'all listen. Y'all come on in here. Go ahead and share. For those of y'all who have shared, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to another Relationship Friday where we talk all things relationships. Listen, this is adult conversation. So if you have children, go ahead and children, you all go in your room. We talk adult conversation. We got DC in the house. Hey, the Edwina, my girl, Edwina. Hey, girl. So Edwina loves coming on live, and at some point we may invite some of the ladies to come on live. And so Edwina, I know you're ready, and you missed us. Edwina, you missed us. We missed you too. You need to hit the bell so that you know when we are going to be going live. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So listen, my name is Rachel. Hunter with RDH Counseling and Consulting, where we help you become your healthiest self. We on Fridays are helping you in your relationships. We're helping y'all get your life, to get your relationship lives together. So last week, we talked about this whole idea of the rib, right? Like, oh, I'm his rib, you're my rib. What does that even mean? So we talked about that. And we talked about the rib being, before I cheat and tell y'all, put it in the comments. For those of y'all who were here last week, throw it in the comments. Let me see. If you were here last week, say, I was here. And what is a rib? What does that mean? For those of y'all who get it right, you just need to be the rib then. You ain't getting no prize, but you are the prize. You be the rib, and then you can be the prize. But what did that mean? This whole idea of being your spouse's rib. I was here. Protect the heart. Yes. So we talked about the rib. First off, where the heck did this even come from? Right? Edwina with her hungry self talking about barbecue. Yes. Listen, those are delicious. But when we talk about some ribs, we are talking about being in a position, right, in your spouse's life, being in a position that you are able to protect the areas and the parts of him that are needing protection, right? So the ribs cover his heart, like Becky said, but the ribs also cover the lungs and other vital organs. So we talked about being a safe space where he can lay his heart down, lay his head. Let me see, what's that song? Lay your head on my pillow. Okay, but where he can have a safe space where he can just be, he can let his hair down, he is safe, and we're protecting his heart. So we kind of talked about some of that. If you all remember anything else that we said last week, throw it in the comments, throw it in the chat. So we're picking up from there. We laid the groundwork. As women, we have the opportunity to be our spouses. y'all like how I say that, our spouses. Don't worry about where my spouse. Don't worry about that. We have the chance our spouse's ribs or your partner's ribs, right? So we're able to kind of protect their heart, be that safe space for them. So that's the groundwork for that. Okay. If y'all remember anything else that I talked about that we talked about last week, throw it in the comments. What stood out to you when you think about am I rib? Because I gave y'all homework. Did y'all do your homework? Did y'all do the homework? Do y'all remember what the homework was? Throw it in the comment. If you remember what the homework was, throw it in the comments. But we're going to talk more. So now we have our fellas here. And we want to hear from them about this whole concept of having a woman as their rib. What does that mean to them? And what are they looking for? What are men looking for from their partners? What do they consider support, the types of support that they need? And I also kind of want us to talk too about, are ladies even wanting that? That was a comment that somebody talked about last time, right? Like, do ladies even want to be somebody's rib? Trying to be a rib. Why is my voice like that? And Dwayne said, I know. Okay, serious traits, but being that person's rib is being that safe space. Yes, where he feels that he or she can be vulnerable and honest with us. I love that. I love that. Yes. So, ladies, do we want to be somebody real? Is we trying to be somebody real? This safe space, is that a thing of the past? Do women in 2022 want to be a man's real? Is we trying to do that? Hey,
that's a lot of
Chris.
responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility. Chris is in the building. Chris, where are you joining us from? So let me have my guests introduce themselves, and then we're gonna hop right into it. So whoever want to go first can introduce themselves, and then the next person will go.
Sir Richard, please.
Okay.
Oh, brother. I was hoping the colonel would say would speak and jump in there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm Rich, Rich Hunter. I'm 45 years old. So
Okay.
I've been around, around for a little bit.
Just a little
And
bit.
yeah, a little bit of lifetime and everything, and I'm still learning everything. But yeah, just a brother out here trying to have an impact, a positive impact, so that's what's up.
I love it. I love it. So look, they already talking in the comment, talking trash. I can't wait to get into it. Somebody said, we're gonna talk about it. All right, Colonel Sam Hall. Listen, we got big wigs on my show on Relationship Friday. Y'all already see. Y'all already see how we do. Go ahead, Colonel.
Hey, Sam Hall. Hey, I'm a product of number 7 of 10 kids. So I come from a large family. Was born into a Pentecostal construct, and I've got lots and lots of years of military experience. And over the years, I've witnessed some things. So, I like to testify to some things. But that's me. That's me.
He gonna testify.
Mm.
So now Pentecostal, were those the people that y'all didn't wear jewelry, makeup, pants? You couldn't do none of that.
Oh,
Y'all
they
was
were strict. Hey, you didn't go to the movies. You didn't play sports because it was the devil's handiwork.
the devils and
Or people out there gambling on your ability. So couldn't do that. Couldn't do that.
you
But
go.
no jewelry, no makeup.
That's
Dress
right.
on
You
to the ankle.
dress. Yeah.
So, so
Ooh.
if you took a girl out in a Pentecostal construct and she showed you a little bit of ankle, whoo, child.
Ooh, child. Nobody wanted him.
The ankle band.
Yeah.
I know
She
that's right.
bad.
Welcome,
She
Brandy.
bad.
Welcome, welcome. All right, so let's hop into it. So before we get into the questions, I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier, which is one, do women even want to be ribs? And I'm seeing some people saying that Edwina, my girl Edwina said, yes, of course, that is like natural for us. That's what we as women, we're made to be. So Edwina is saying yes, but now we got a guy though, and G is saying no, they show don't. Most women in 2022 are looking, ooh, child, are looking for a man to be their rib.
Uh,
Okay,
mm.
what do y'all think? Is that true?
Ah.
What are your thoughts on that? What what y'all think? Rich, I'm
Mm.
start with you. What's your thoughts? Do you 45 years old, so you've
Yeah.
been out in the dating scene. You kind of have dealt with women.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
I
your perception? Is that what you're seeing? What do you think?
I think that womanhood as it's portrayed today, like in
Mm,
social media, movies, television, that kind of thing, and
mhm,
what I'm seeing and when I interact online and everything,
mhm,
it's a culture of self-celebration, kind of like almost self-absorption
mm,
and self-focus. So I don't see that. I don't really see like a desire to be like. Now, I don't think people are aspiring. Women, I don't see women are aspiring. I don't see that conversation taking place. Like, how do we do this? Like really,
yeah.
platforms like yours are
Mhm,
really the few and far between places where you can hear a conversation about, how to even do that. That
mhm.
hey, I want to do that. I'm aspiring to be that. Like,
Mhm.
I don't hear that kind of conversation. No.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Sam? What your thoughts? And then we'll get to Brandy's definition, question about the definition.
So I got to roll back in history real quick
Oh,
because
snap.
there are some gifts from slavery,
Mm-hmm.
systematic involved in, I mean, especially in the black culture,
Mm-hmm.
where I mean, men and women were separated, families torn apart.
Yeah.
The male was a beast of burden. The female was in the house, nursing, wet nursing, caring for someone else's kids, can't care for her own. And then we take these people and we modernize them and bring them, give them freedom, but we don't give them any training.
Mm-hmm.
Try to join them and say, hey, you guys need to be a couple. You need to be a power couple. You need to be a family.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us still trying to figure out what that is.
What does
So,
that look like?
so the more of those systematic laws, hey, you make it easier to put a black man in jail. You
Mm-hmm.
make it easier for
Mhm.
women. You know, you tell the black woman, hey, you know what? You don't need that black man. You know good boy.
Yeah.
And that systematic
Yeah.
mentality
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
of the gift from slavery
Yeah.
causes the black woman to look at the black man and say, what I need with him?
Mm. Mm-mm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
need him. I'm
All
making
right.
money, especially and she gets educated and then she thinks, hey, I can make the dollars myself.
Mm.
Why do I need
Why? What
a
I need you for?
my Lord?
What I need.
My Lord.
Hmm.
Do
Yeah.
I don't need to be a rib. So
Hmm.
I can
Yeah.
understand that
Okay.
conversation
Yeah.
on, hey, no, I don't want to be anybody's rib.
So
Ribs.
I hear. Okay, so let's kind of break down a little bit, and then I'm going to go to the comments. Shatora is saying preach. All right, Edwina said, "Wow, that part, Mr. Hall has truth to this." All right,
Yeah.
so and I'm gonna go to the comments because this is good, right? We're talking about definitely the pieces of slavery and the impact that it's had on the Black family as a whole, and this over time, the way it's played out, and even when you think systematically, right? So when you look at housing, and even
Yes.
when you're looking at housing laws,
Yeah.
it made it very
Mm-hmm.
made it more convenient for the man not to be there,
It's
right?
it's counterproductive for him to be there.
Counterproductive. So definitely we
Mm-hmm.
have that, and I think that is important, an important part of the conversation. You're also bringing up the whole educational piece, right? Which is women.
Mm-hmm.
That women, especially women of color, we are more educated than our brothers, and so sometimes it becomes a whole thing of, are you on my level? Do you I can do for me, right? So when we have the men leaving the homes for different reasons, and women, and we kind of talked about this last time as well, women, some of us having to be in those roles of a single parent, and you have to run the show. And so it's like, what we talking about again? You women, now I'm trying to handle business over here. You want me to
Mm.
do what?
Mm.
What?
You want me to do what now?
You want me to do what now? So these are important pieces to discuss. Let me go to the comments, because there's some really interesting comments here. There's some people that's agreeing, but then there are some people who are like, I don't know about that. So just to kind of bring it back, if you're just joining us, listen, we're talking about this whole idea of being his rib, right? As women, what does that look like? What does that even mean? And then we kind of started off by asking the question, do women of 2022 even want to be a rib? Why not, if that's the case? Are there benefits? That was another question from last time. So let me just kind of lay the foundation to talk about what this whole rib idea is. Brandy asked that. If you're just joining us, welcome. Share this, invite your friends, family on. Thank you for those who have invited people on. So when we're talking about the rib, for those of y'all who were here last week, throw it in the comments so they can see. But we're talking about a woman in her role, right? Like, so if this is your spouse, right? And so I'll start there from the perspective of, as a wife, being your husband's rib, protecting the vital, but also the vulnerable parts of him, his heart, being there for him, protecting that, being a safe space so that he can not only emotionally have a safe space, right, to be able to thrive, but then also being his place, protecting his peace. So things of that nature. So when we're talking about the rib in a nutshell, if you didn't see last week, watch it after this show. Go back and watch it. Good stuff. But that in a nutshell is what we mean when we say the rib. So G says, no, he doesn't. He kind of agrees with what y'all are saying, that many women, and I don't think y'all are y'all saying all women? Are y'all saying that some women, many, is it
No,
all?
no. And someone said that in the comment that you can't say it about all women, and she's right. You can't say that about all women.
Do that.
That's impossible. So there are the onesies and the twosies that do exist.
Yeah.
But I would say like 95% of maybe 90% of the population. I mean, if you find one that's trying to be a red boy, hey, don't let her go.
Don't let her
Don't let
go.
her go.
Oh,
Don't let her go.
Listen, I think it's
No.
more than that. All right, ladies, for the ladies that are up here, if you trying to be a rib, if you are comfortable, if you are okay with, if you buy into this idea of being a rib, put a 1. I just want to see, because I think it's more than just
Take a quick poll.
yeah.
A quick poll.
But you know, I mean, while we're polling, you
Yeah.
know, you last week you laid out the Adam and Eve concept, steeped in the Bible. I mean, hey, you know, we were made from two different things. Man made from dust. The woman made from that rib came out of man. Adam's like, whoa, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. But I mean, so as a man, I have a vision, but my vision includes you because you are a part of me. You are at my side. You are my rib, and I'm loving you. I'm taking care of you. So that concept of having the rib, that's what I'm playing off of, and what I'm thinking that you are talking about.
Gotcha. Yes. So thank you. So he kind of brought it in even more. He did his homework. Listen, brother had his. I ain't gonna put you out there. He said, I'm well prepared. I have studied and I did the research. So, yes, that was the context of it, right? Because when we talk about this whole rib idea, it really is a biblical context. I lost my word, but it is biblical. It comes from that. Like sometimes people are saying it, their context. Yes, thank you. And so people use it and aren't even aware of that. So thank you for bringing that out. Becky said, I think the media puts a negative spin on what's really going on. I love my husband and support and undergird him where possible. So there are some women, and I think it's more than that. But
you think more than 90%?
I hope. Listen,
I mean, you think it's more than 10%?
I think it is.
And I'm gonna tell you why I say that, man. Because look, I'm talking about as a whole, in mass.
Gotcha.
You can look at any, like, I'm telling you, you go on Instagram or Facebook and just get a taste of the minds of the people. That's all I'm saying. You'll see what you be like.
The minds of the people.
So listen, Chris says, I think it's more of what a man can. Okay, so this is what Chris is saying. He thinks that there's women, instead of looking at being a support to the man, are more looking at what can the man do for me. G earlier said something about, financially, like what can this man bring for me?
Yes, that's the focus. Yes.
And that's what y'all are thinking. Okay, let me see. Edwina said, I have been the self-sufficient and independent woman for years. I'm still learning how to be the kind of woman that is a rib. It's a lesson in itself, especially for those of us that have not really and truly seen this role model. So we talked about that last time. How much of that plays a role or a part, do you think, in this 90% that y'all put out there of women not desiring to be a rib, not even going there? How much of it is, this is what I saw role model, I didn't see it role model, so I ain't trying to do it? What are y'all thoughts on that?
I think it's tough that when our culture says, listen to our music, and we as artists call women all outside of their names and devalue them in our culture. But then we, on the other turn, we say, hey, I have a queen. Yeah. Well, you're not treating her like a queen.
That part. Okay.
Yeah. Rich. That's real. That's real. And like someone said, like it's hard to be what you have never seen. And it's so when you have to imagine something for yourself and then try to mold yourself into that. And if there's no training going on how to do this, it's difficult. So I don't fault our women for where we are, but we have to have these conversations though. Like, we've got to have this conversation, and so that's how I feel about that.
Don't know.
Yeah, and Shatora is bringing up a point too. Now I'm seeing ones. I see a lot of ones in here. Shatora said that a lot of women are, that the whole masculinity is coming up, and somebody kind of hit on that, right? Because if you've been in the role of caregiver, you've been used to, say if you're a single parent, you've been used to it. And I'm a single parent, or was. She grown now, so I don't even have any kids nowadays. These days, I'm
freedom.
Back in the day, raising a child, you are constantly putting out fires. You are handling business. And so in those situations where you have to handle fires, put out fires, handle business, be able to think on your feet, to be able to slow down and to be able to say, how can I serve you? What do you need? And let me be gentle. I'm tired. Who got time to be gentle? Bruh,
Mm,
bruh.
mm,
So
mm.
I can, I get that. And I think that's something that we talked about last time. Um, I'm just looking at the comments. So
Yeah,
Edwina brings, and anything y'all want to add to that?
yeah. I would just add, the whole male female relationship. Like, man, you don't see it anywhere. But wait, I mean, I've seen it in a few places. Just that training.
Yeah.
And this and there's another side of the coin too, involving the training of men,
Yes.
how to be men and
Mhm.
their role and responsibility. But we ain't talking about that right now. We
Mhm.
gonna focus on what we're focusing on. But
Mhm.
yeah, that just yeah, there's a lot of work to do. There's a whole
Yeah.
lot of work to do. But
Yeah.
as a culture, we gotta get better at that.
Rachel, I
So
think
yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Rachel killed it last week, and when you were modeling and talking about men who are healthy.
That part.
Big rib for a man that is healthy. Because
Hmm.
I mean, for me, if you're a man and you got unresolved trauma, I mean,
Yes.
whether it's sexual assault, I
Mhm.
mean, it could be a prior divorce, you ain't
Mhm.
healed from that. I
Mhm.
mean, if you got a man, I mean, and you also talked about women being, more observant and assessing what these men
Yeah.
are before they get them.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you got a man that's lazy, he's got a poor worldview, he's got some mental health issues or some physical issues.
Mhm.
I mean, he's not balanced uh, spiritually, emotionally.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get a project. I mean, no
You
matter what, you're gonna get a project. He's gonna get a project. It's just, I mean, but that's just going to be a situation of the environment.
Yeah, that is important, Sam, that you're bringing that up, right? Because
Mm.
when we're talking about, and Brandy just mentioned it as well. Thank you, great conversation. The idea of women submitting, right? Because in order to decide that I am willing to step into this role of being my partner's rib, right? Supporting him, um, caring for him, it really is important for you to assess the man you are thinking about,
Amen.
submitting to, connecting with. And
Yeah.
so, all of this stuff that we're talking about um, really is predicated on this is a healthy individual. And if you're not healthy, right? So, let's say if you're married already to this person or you're in relationship already, um, where are they, right? Are they willing to acknowledge that there is a need to handle trauma, to heal, and are they willing to do so? So that's going to be important as well. Let's hop
Mm.
into and so I'm loving the conversation. Y'all keep it up. I saw a lot of ones. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. The ladies are saying
Hey,
we are down with being the rib, and I'm gonna, so we were talking behind backstage, y'all. And I just want to say that I'm a one, and I am open to being a rib because there are benefits that come to connecting with a man that's healthy and whole, right? Marrying someone that's healthy and whole, and being able to support. It's give and take. So right now, this is what's important, women. I want you to think about how you're feeling right now as we're talking about the idea of submitting, the idea of covering a man's heart, being his safe space. If you find yourself um, reacting to that, and it's why I got to be his safe space, why?
mm,
Then that is indicative of what Sam was saying. There's a wounding, there's a place that's not yet healed. Because just like Rich said, there is another side as well for the men. So, in any healthy relationship, it's a give and a take. If I am his rib, right, he is also providing me with what I need.
Indeed.
right? If you are not, if that doesn't even come to your mind that you two, that this is a two-way street, if all you are, if you're reacting and responding because you're picturing being the rib and it's bringing up a reaction for you, that's indicative. And that is something I want you to look deeper into. Does that make sense, y'all? So I want us to start
Mm-hmm.
thinking about that. What comes up for you when you think about covering and protecting a man? If that is something that is what? That is a
But
clue that
Mm-hmm.
there are some areas that need healing. Um,
yeah,
there. Thoughts,
it's bad.
feelings about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta check yourself, man. And
Yeah.
yeah. And so like I heard it in my head. It's my check myself. I ain't check my. I heard it. Somebody said it. I don't know who it was. Check. Yeah, man. Tell me.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So
But you gotta.
Sam,
I got I got to throw out that it is a incredible responsibility for and I'm gender rolling right now, but it
mm,
me it's
mhm,
very important for the man that I mean if the woman is out there, she working two jobs, she taking care of the kids, it is important for the man to set an environment that's conducive to that woman being able to relax
yeah,
and feel like she's covered. I mean, she's your rib covered with skin, right? So, you know, you love yourself, you love your rib.
mhm,
So when she comes home, is the environment stable enough for her to take a breath?
yeah.
The man always like, "Hey, I need a break." Well, you know, she need a break. She need a break too.
Mhm.
I mean, is the environment ready for her? Because later on, I mean, eventually we'll get around to talking about sex, but that concept comes up real quick. He always asking me for sex. Well, hold on. Did you prepare the environment? Is she relaxed?
Mm,
Is she feeling like she's appreciated?
mhm,
You know?
mhm.
So, I mean, does the rib feel good?
Yeah,
Because when the rib doesn't feel good, I mean, you covered it last week. You can't breathe.
yeah,
You hurt. I mean, the whole body is hurt.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, I mean, the guys have a huge piece of this as well.
Yes. Listen, ain't no ribbon going on. The rib ain't ribbon. And you know, so there's a lot that goes into, and that's why I said it's a give and take, right?
Mhm,
And we're talking about two healthy individuals.
mhm,
But right now we're focusing in on, you know, the role of the wife or the woman. Now Sam shared his idea or thoughts about what it meant to be a rib. Rich, let me hear from you, if you have a difference of opinion or something different or something to add when it comes to your idea of what it means for a woman to be a rib.
Yeah. So no, I pretty much agree.
Okay.
But I do I feel like it's important to note that it's that whole rib piece.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it brings peace to the whole situation. And you alluded to it too. You said what's the benefit? But yeah, so when you are that rib for that man,
Hmm.
I agree with your what you said last week about it being that protection of his vulnerabilities, and um and just being a holder and a protector of his like his aspirations, his ego,
Yeah.
his inspirations. So yeah, I agree with that because when I look at that situation that happened with Will Smith and
Oh,
Jada,
yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
mm,
oh man, like it
mm,
just her behavior
mm,
Gotcha.
that
Hmm.
allowed. I don't know if you can imagine. I don't know if women can imagine
mm.
how hurtful that is. So when a man take brings a woman in,
Hmm.
it brings her in, so she is now home team. She is past all the defenses.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
then we're talking about the vulnerabilities, right?
Okay.
So he's brought her inside, like inside the defenses, right? And he's so he's telling so she knows what's his vulnerability. She knows what, all those triggers. She knows his goals, his aspirations. And then so now he has put her up, like, you are now, you're mine. And so even if I don't have a new pair of shoes, you got a new pair of shoes,
Gotcha.
because you are my crown.
Mm-hmm.
When your crown
Child.
sleeps with your son's best friend. Talking about a rib, right? And so now check this out, right? So we said people were saying, we talk about Facebook, and so checking out the minds of the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the minds of the people were saying, from what I was reading in comment sections all over Facebook and social media, was she can do that, modern women up, blah, she can do that's her, all this liberation stuff, like, it wasn't no talk about no damn rib. I can tell you that. We weren't talking about no goddamn ribs. That's not the mind of the people at that particular juncture. See what I'm saying? So I'm saying, so like being a rib, man, like holding yourself in high esteem for someone other than yourself, like, yo, I'm holding it down because I'm the rib. I protect my man's vulnerabilities, his image. Yeah. I protect his image, and the Bible talks about that kind of thing in Proverbs all through there. Right? Like, if you got a good one, she's great. But if you got a rotten one, she's rotten to your bones. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that whole piece, man, and so yeah, that's how I feel about a woman being a rib for her man. Like, yeah, it's deeper than just like, the ego. It's bigger than just I want to be me for me. I'm a modern woman. I want to do this. It's bigger than that. It's so yeah, but that's how I feel about it.
I love what you're saying, and I think it's important for women and wives to hear how men are interpreting, perceiving, and how they're looking at this, right? There's a couple of pieces that you brought out that I want to really unpack. One, I love how that sounded. Did y'all hear that? Somebody want to unpack. It sounded real good. But one of the things that you said was, when a man is looking at his partner, his wife, as his rib, he has allowed her access to the inner workings, like
full access.
The full access. I am allowing you into my inner world. And I don't think that a lot of women consider that sometimes. Now, this isn't all women, but sometimes we are so preoccupied with us and our experience. That's humans anyway, right? Sometimes we are just looking at life through our lenses, and we are not thinking about the other person, right? That's normal. And so you have to train yourself to recognize that how you look at life is different, right? So this man has allowed this person into them and past his defenses. He has opened himself up. And in those moments, in that time, this can go one way or the other, sis. You have been given full access. And so how do you honor that, right? And how do you, this is why so many of the men I coach and so many of the men I work with are emotionally dead, because they have allowed the wrong woman access
about that.
Their inner parts. And
talk about that part.
Yeah, these women have been broken. You're so silly, but they've been broken, right? So if you're looking at it from the perspective of a rib, well, if a rib is fractured or broken, you have a high likelihood of it puncturing the heart.
It's gonna tear you up.
It's gonna tear you.
Oh, it's gonna tear you up now. Okay, yeah. I like I saw what Rebecca said. That's what had me cracking up.
What?
Rebecca said at the park. I think he knew she was a whore when he got her.
Oh my God.
Lord have mercy.
Wow. Hey, there are plenty of women that are with guys that they never should have been there. He, I mean, I like the way you said unpack what Richard was walking through. I mean, he was talking about peace and protection, but does the woman even speak the man's language?
Ooh,
Her in, and
ooh,
don't speak. Yeah, I have a friend that I love. She talks about the concept of the representative.
mm,
Boy meets girl,
mm,
and whoever he met wasn't the real her. But she, baby, what you like to do? Well, I like to do this. Well, I like that too.
I like
She,
it.
she faking going down behind his interest. She like, hey, what kind of food you like? Oh, I like that too. Oh, okay. Hey, take her home. I like your mother. I like your sisters. Oh,
Oh,
really?
child.
Okay. Okay. All right. You enter the bedroom. Oh man, you are amazing.
Amazing.
Faked your way all the way through it, and now you're like, oh my
Yep.
God, what do I do? Keep faking. Keep faking. But does she speak the language? I mean, I love what Richard said about the woman having a vision for the man.
Mm.
I mean, that's something that I've never really thought about. And I mean, just had a friend talking to me today about she started bringing up that a woman that meets a man needs to look at him and see what his attributes and his skill, knowledge, and abilities are, and she needs to add value to that. I mean, have a vision for that man, help him get to where because his vision includes her. So it's not her just doing for him; she's doing for herself as well.
Mm.
I
Now, do men? Let's go there. Do men take issue with the woman almost because a little bit? I'm hearing build a man a little bit.
oh no, I don't say build a man. I help the man.
Help the man. Gotcha.
Help the man.
Gotcha. Okay.
Help meet.
Help. And so that brings us to this next part, right? This next question, which is how are men looking for women to support them? Like, what is the type of support that men need, right? When we're talking about this idea of help me, right? So help me is y'all are so churchies. They speak in churchies, help me. But what we're really talking about, right, is a partner, right? How is a man looking for his rib to support him? What does that look like? What are the ways? Let's kind of talk about that. Whoever Chris said, amen.
Amen and amen.
So what does that look like? Sam, you start us, and then Rich, you'll bring in. So Sam, what are men looking for when it comes to support? How would they like their ribs to help meet?
Well, I got some people like barbecue sauce, but I like my ribs kind. I mean, kindness and honesty. I mean, those things. Well, because when you see a standard in a woman that she knows how to treat people.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not rude to the waiter. She's not rude to your mother. I mean, nobody's situation is perfect, but if there's a kindness, genuine kindness in her, that challenges the man to be even more kind. I mean, I'm thinking of someone that now, I do like a woman that makes me feel good about me being able to be the guy that there's a country singer that says, I wish I could be the man my dog thinks I am. I mean, if my wife or my partner had hey, here's who my man is.
Yeah.
I gotta live up to that. I want to live up to that. I mean, so start talking about things, those traits that I would like in my rib.
Yeah.
I like my rib. I mean, I don't want my rib prideful. I don't want my rib, hey, look at us. Look, blessed of the Lord. But all day. No, because that's not helpful. That's
Gotcha.
not helping it. I mean, I would love my rib if she was financially savvy, because I may not be good with numbers.
Mhm.
But there's a ton of traits out there that, and I don't ask for, I've gotten to the point where if I was asking,
Mhm.
I'd be asking for one or two, you know, because there's a lot of things out there. A
Yeah.
guy can say, "Oh yeah, I need all this."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, give me one or two good ones. Kindness,
Okay.
kindness
Yeah.
is huge.
I think it's important to also recognize that everybody has their own individual preferences. Somebody said that in the comment. Before I get to you, Rich, I'm going to go to some of the comments. Um,
Yeah.
and Becky said, I think we should preface all of the comments and questions with the presumption that we are talking about healthy and whole individuals. Yes,
Yeah.
that part is going to be, I mean, like, yes. So that's important. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we are assuming that that is there already. Shatora said hot, uh, honesty, open,
Open.
and
Yeah.
transparent. Um,
Transparent.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. They are saying, what is the name of that song they want to hear? What is the name of that song? Chris said to listen and support them to help them grow. I'm all for having my partner give me a better way to accomplish something. So it kind of sounds like he's
Hmm.
open to feedback as well, Sam.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so that part is definitely important. And Edwina said, I think you should ask for what you want, but don't expect them all. And that's kind of what you were saying as
Sure.
well. Sam said, listen, can I just get one? One or
Give
two? What about you, Rich? When you think about, your rib, right? What would that
Hmm.
look? What would she be like? How? Because how did she even make it past your defenses, right? What was it about her
Hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
allowed
Yeah.
her? Ladies, y'all listen, right?
Yeah.
Y'all saying y'all want
Hmm.
good men. What did she do that let her get past your defenses, and how is she?
Hmm.
So take
Mm-hmm.
us.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there are some things that I look for. I look for some signs, and I try my best to read and feel.
Mhm.
But I definitely be looking for connection for sure. Um, and in that communication, that's a huge part of whether or not, like, I feel like, hey, we can even get to that point where, okay, you can you can come inside and everything. But so yeah, but as far as support, I feel like men want to reach their highest potential, right?
Mhm.
Like everybody, you want to be the best man
Mm-hmm.
that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, like, the trust part,
Yeah.
trust
Huge.
is a great way. That's a great means of support,
Huge.
because
Mhm.
a man that fully trusts
Yeah.
you with his information, he trusts you with your judgment. He trusts, like, that optimizes that man to like for full potential, right? Um, yeah. So I just feel like if if he can get that support
Mhm.
like that, then that's where he wants to be. And I also feel like, well, let me know. I'll just cut that off right there, because I don't want to get. But that's all. That's a big question. That's a big question. How does a man want to be supported,
Yeah.
in a relationship? Because there's so many things. Cooperation. Is she cooperative?
Mhm.
Can he trust her?
Mhm.
And I had some notes, right? Yeah, this note, I found this quote
Bring it.
that
Bring your
said,
notes down. Bring them up. Bring them up.
Okay.
no, this is quote that I wrote. It said, men want to be treated in a way that doesn't diminish their egos and make them feel inadequate.
Ooh.
And they want to be praised and acknowledged for the things that they do right,
Mhm.
and be reminded that they are great guys who are well loved and appreciated. And that's really what Brother Sam was talking about. Like, I just want to be appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a pretty good guy. I try really hard,
Mhm.
and my dog knows that. And I just wish you knew that.
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
hard for you, man.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that is that okay. So a little bit, I am there are a lot of times where the emphasis is on men showing women appreciation. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's important. Okay. But I think sometimes and this is what it really is. Society has taught us that men are hard, that men don't have emotions. And so if somebody's hard and don't have emotions, why would I say I appreciate you and thank you? Right? Because you all have been painted like these cavemen who can't appreciate. It's almost like they paint, and I don't like this. They paint my men like y'all are emotionally
Bankrupt.
bankrupt, like you
Yeah.
don't have it that, and so it makes sense why it would be a foreign concept to
Right.
some
Right.
that a man would want to be appreciated, he would want to be admired, he would want to be respected, that he would want to be desired. And this kind of ties into the sex part, right? When we're talking about this idea of appreciating a man, but also making him feel or allowing him to know that he is like, yo, I like you. I want you. What the guy say?
I like you.
I
I
like
want
you
you.
and I want you. I got to have you. Right. So women, wives, let your men know that you love them, that you want. Chase him. Like you be the aggressor. Touch
Hey,
on him.
hey, I just wanted, just for illustration or
Mhm.
to shine a little light
Oh,
on this right here.
here we go.
So look at this right now, brother Sam. You tell me if this is a lie or not. So women, Mother's Day comes around. Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh, God. I mean, but when Father Day come around, shit, you better
woo.
take these socks and carry your ass. Enjoy the time, nigga. Enjoy the time, sir. Like, now you mean to tell me I work hard all year long.
Oh,
These lights is on.
we
You know what I'm saying?
we can't even
This,
get
this,
half.
But how much of that now? Because I'm all about fairness across the board. I'm loving the comments, y'all. Y'all bring them in. I'm gonna y'all keep up with the comments. But how much of that though is you men, you not expressing? Is there any responsibility on the man as far as like expressing? Um, I like this. I like when you do this. I want the, like, is there? Do men fall short in that area? Do y'all feel like no, we are out here and we make it clear and it still doesn't happen? Or tell me what you how would y'all say about that?
See, okay, so I think we're getting into the myths now that men don't express themselves, and
Let's talk.
Mhm.
the woman doesn't know what he wants. I
Mm,
mean, the woman's sitting there going, "Tell me what you want, what you really, really want." Hey, hold on, I told you,
I
and you,
told you already.
oh, you don't want that.
You
No, this is what I want. No, you don't want that.
You don't
got you.
want that.
Got
Here's what you're getting. How about give me what I asked for?
hey,
That's all.
here you go, brother Sam. Help me the way I asked you to.
Yes,
you. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Becky's comment and Bridget's comment, which is we want to make, sometimes there are immature, unhealthy people who are not listening and or trying to tell you
Mm, mm,
what
mm,
you do and don't want.
mm,
Let me go to the comments really quickly.
mm,
I am
mm.
loving this. So men, y'all are doing a wonderful job of just putting it out there for us, right? Like no cutting corners, like you're making it clear for us, and we need this. So thank y'all for that. When it comes to the women, just as far as the same question for them. This is what some of them are saying: goals and a vision to undergird. So the man having a bit, like, how can I want to support you, but can you have a vision that you can articulate to me? Because I'm helping meeting what? So that part, Shatora said reciprocating the energy, so that back, like both. Um, Giving that energy, which is, I love that. Bridget's in the building. A person who is thoughtful and can appreciate my gifts. And I kind of heard y'all say that as well, right? So it kind of sounds like there is similarities with that. Becky said single dimension. Single
That's right.
dimensional
That's right.
robots, which is
Yes.
a lie. Men
Men
are
are
human
human
Oh,
too.
too.
Yeah, and that is that common misperception,
sorry.
and it's unfair, and it also paints men in a corner. It also is a part of the reason why so many of our men are hurting, are dealing with emotional and mental health issues inside. And we've been seeing a rash of just crazy, deranged behavior, but a lot of it from men on their partners and others, because there is that emotional death that has taken place, and there's no safe space for men to be able to say, hey, I'm going through it, I'm hurting. And so that's why we have these conversations. um, Bridget said, my man is not responsible for how I show him appreciation. I'm responsible for that. Let's talk. Y'all agree? Disagree? What's your thoughts on that? That's interesting.
Yes. I said a lot. I'll let Brother Sam. Go ahead, Brother Sam.
My
Start
man,
us off, Sam. I love this, because
My-
what she's saying is my partner. Go ahead.
partner, my man is not responsible for what?
For how I show him appreciation.
Yep.
I'm responsible for
Wow.
how I show him
Wow.
appreciation.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's go into that.
Yes. Well, so we're all, we all have different ways of being thankful. And I'm going to dip into the myths for a minute because, some people try to show their appreciation and it's all a myth. Here's two examples. Myth number one: all a man wants is sex. That's a myth, because a man wants intimacy as well.
Yeah,
we want intimacy. We want sex too. Oh yeah, we want sex too, but we want intimacy as well. And you know what? But here's the other piece of that: we don't want intimacy or sex if we don't trust you. So if you can show me that I can trust you, that's appreciation.
Yes, man.
I'll give you one more. Roll this one up. That myth that a way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
That ain't true?
Oh, that's a myth. Mythbusters right
good.
here.
Woo! So I don't have to learn to cook. Is that what you said? Like, don't have me on this show. No,
I mean, you know what? So my mother was like, "Hey, you know what? You're gonna learn to cook. You're gonna learn to sew. You're gonna learn to do this and this, and you learn to clean, because when it's time for you to find a mate, that is not the reason why you're looking for her."
Oh, child.
That's right.
So I appreciate that she can cook, because I don't want to do all the cooking. I appreciate that she can clean, because I don't like a nasty house. But we equals in that. Yeah. But show me some it's your job to show me some appreciation. How about show me some appreciation the way I want to be? I want to see it. I'm saying.
Somebody mentioned it earlier about the love languages and being able to understand. So this, with the couples that I work with, and even individuals that I work with, that happens a lot. We tend to show love and appreciation the way we want it, the way we accept it, the way it makes sense for us. And so getting out of that is important. Brandy said,
Mm-hmm.
I look for a strong man in mental capacity with goals and actions that are manifesting said goals. I like for him to be strong in communication and able to vocalize his thoughts. I like for his personality to attract my attention and make me willing to submit.
Ooh.
Oh, snappy.
Mm,
Listen, a woman who knows what she is looking for. And that is what's going to make me submit. And that was the question, right? Like, what is it that
wow.
women are looking for in men
Wow.
that would make them
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
value being his
Being
rib?
the rib. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So this is good. Listen,
Hmm.
it's 8 o'clock. We have been on it. This has been another great relationship Friday. Fellas, I have appreciated y'all coming in here. People in the comments, viewers, y'all have been on and popping like y'all always are. This has been another wonderful conversation. I want to thank y'all for your time. I want to thank you
Oh yeah.
for um, being open and honest, Rich and Sam,
Yeah.
because as men, sometimes you're not always given the space to do that. So thank y'all for
Yeah.
being willing to share. We need to hear it. We
Thank
need to
you.
hear it. I'm open to being a rib. It's ghetto for me to open my own door. It's ghetto for me to take the trash out. I ain't trying to pump gas. I'm gonna be your rib because I know the vice versa
Yeah.
gonna open. Can't
Mm-hmm.
handle that.
All that. Yeah.
So I want to say thank you all so much. Any last words before we end for tonight? Rich and then Sam.
Yeah, man. I would just say, man, for any woman that's on the fence as to whether or not
Mm,
you think that being playing a role in the relationship in the part of the
yeah.
rib, like, listen, there are a lot of benefits that come with that. That's a really good thing. If you want to optimize your relationship, man, support your man like that, and you will receive
Mm,
triple the support from him when he can really fully trust you and can run full speed ahead with a single-minded focus
mhm.
because of what you are providing, you know, in that kind of way. Like, yeah, there's super benefits to that. So yeah, consider that.
I love it. I love it. Look, they are loving this. Listen, the other thing, and I know Rich, you got to hop off, but let me hear, and not but to you, Richard, but to the people in the comments. Let me hear other topics that I want to hear from y'all because in the Relationship Fridays, we're always wanting to provide you content that is applicable to where you are. So if you have topics that you want us to talk about, put it in the comments. Um, Sam mentioned it earlier that it is important for individuals to be healthy enough to be in a relationship. And I think Becky said it earlier as well, right? It's in order for this thing to work, right? In order for me to feel comfortable and safe enough
Mm.
to be your rib, the partner has to be safe enough to and healthy enough to be comfortable letting someone in to be his rib. So it takes
Mm.
both parts. And so sometimes, especially for women, we have a lot going on. And because we have a lot going on, we're tired, we're worn out, we're drained. And so I don't want to be nobody rib. Like, rib, bring me somebody who said it earlier. Bring me a plate of ribs. Like, that's all ribs I'm trying to talk about. So it is important, ladies, and I'm just talking to ladies because that's who we're talking about tonight. We will start talking about the men in some of these other conversations that we have. But ladies, it's important for us to take care of ourselves so that we are not getting burned out. Because when we're burned out, we're not capable of being our best selves. And it is hard for us to try to think about the needs of somebody else. So when it comes to that, your self care is important. We have a self care course. The link is in the comments. If you need help taking care of you, let's get it going so that you can be healthy enough to be able to take care of somebody else. It has been a nut. Look, they said we are not ready to go. What is you talking about? Um, Our guest got to go. Oh my gosh. If you okay, I'll give y'all a few more minutes. Rich, you got if you got to go, hop off. Sam, if you got
No, I did want to hear what Brother Sam had to say.
yes, go ahead. Ann.
So Rachel, thank you for a safe space so we can have these conversations. I mean, thank you for making us better every day. So thank you very much, Sir Richard. Hey, it's always a pleasure sharing the field with you, brother. It's been a long
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Absolutely.
sure. The last thing is, I think we all should make it a point to eat with our people, because if we sit down and eat with our people, then talking will occur. And if we're talking, then maybe we can get some of these issues out and some better understanding. And we can develop our own safe places that we can talk inside our families and with our extended families and friends. Because, modernization, I mean, it's great that we have time saving devices. But back in the day when it was just the fire and no refrigerator, food was cooked maybe once or twice a day, and everybody came to the meal, and we were able to talk. And what little Johnny doing over there? Well, what's Beth doing over there? It all came out at the meal, and then we went away. But we don't do that anymore. As a family, we don't sit down. We're not talking as much. So we have people acting weird and doing strange stuff. But I mean, the responsibilities of a rib. Hey, we need it. The man needs a rib. The man needs a rib. The man needs a rib. But the man needs a rib that wants to be a rib. Thank you, Ray.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you all again. Shatura said daddy issues and their impact on healthy relationships. Okay. Listen, we will definitely talk about that again. We talked about father wounds, and that plays a big role in how a man, I'm sorry, how a woman connects with a man, connects with her partner. If Because the role of the father is to protect, to provide identity. And so if the woman has been fathered improperly, in an unhealthy way, she is lacking in that area. And so what you notice is that she is looking for love, for validation, for affirmation, right? Because that's what her father would have given her. She's looking for it everywhere. And so she is selecting the wrong men. And so even if she has a good man, you would oftentimes, what I see is that women who are dealing with that sabotage the relationships. So that is really important, Shator. Thank you for bringing that up. There is so much more that can be unpacked with this topic. Sounds like a series, especially with these two panelists. Listen, they were on point. They were on point. Definitely, there's a lot more to be unpacked, especially what Shator said about the daddy issues. The other piece, though, and we're going to talk as well about from the perspective of men, right? What it means to be able to cover your wife and how that looks, right? Because there are a lot of men who have not been fathered. And so when men are not fathered, they lack what you end up noticing is it hasn't been role model for them, so they haven't seen covering done in a healthy way. But there is a lack of confidence when it comes to being in the role of a father, of a husband, right? And so there is a lot of insecurity in those roles. And when it comes to image, like who am I? Am I qualified, competent, capable of doing this? There's a struggle there. And so there is healing that needs to take place there. So we're going to talk about that as well. How we get our men healed so that they are whole enough to step into these roles as husbands and covering. So those are really good topics. We're going to definitely talk more about it. So Brandy, Shatora, thank y'all for bringing that up. I am going to do this really quickly. I am going to, again, anybody who has to hop off, feel free. I'm going to do this. Thank you so much. For anybody, Now, y'all know I'm a therapist, y'all know I'm a coach and all like that. I'm gonna give you 15 minutes because I got something else I need to do. I give you 20 minutes. I'm gonna put the link in here. If you want to come on live and if you want to ask a question of a therapist, this is a free 15, 20 minutes that you get to ask your questions in regards to how to be a rib, challenges to being a rib, how to heal from father wounds that's making it, even this idea of submitting. And this is what I alluded to earlier. When you notice topics like this that come up and you recognize that there's a reaction that you have, so that's indicative of there's some areas. So I want you to scan your body. This is throughout this whole session. Now I want you to scan your body. What does your body feel like? Start with your stomach. Does your stomach feel tight? Is it tense? Have you been holding your breath this whole time? What are your shoulders feeling like? These are some of the areas that when we are uncomfortable or triggered, that things come up for us in those areas. Okay. So I want you to kind of just start assessing. And this is us looking at, are there areas I need to grow and heal in so that when I do connect, or let's say if you've already married or in a relationship, this is indicative of, okay, I might have some work I need to get done. Okay. Edwina said 22 minutes. All right. I'm going to give y'all 22 minutes. If you have questions, comments, questions, if you want to come on live, click the link. If you have questions about anything we talked about, throw it in here. You can come on live. We'll talk. If you want to ask Sam a question, if you want to ask a man a question about this whole being a rib, that looks like
Bring it.
men really want. We didn't get to get through all of our questions. You got some time to do that. Brandon said, yes, I just realized I have been holding my breath. Thank you for sharing that, Brandy. That is a lot of times what happens, right? We go through, we're stressed, we're dealing with things, and we don't breathe. So that is really important that you notice that. And that's what I have my clients to do. Just kind of scanning your body. That lets you know, okay, this is hitting something. This is triggering or re-triggering something for me. So that's important. I'm not coming on live next. Oh, I'm coming on. Edwina always says that. Edwina, click the link and get up here. But if you have questions, so I want to go back really quickly to what Brandy talked about, us holding our breaths as women. So, ladies, a lot of times when we have been in situations where we have not been fathered properly and we are now in relationships, it can be very hard. It can be very challenging for us to use this whole to come in to connect with this idea of being vulnerable enough to connect with a man. Bring them out, bring them out. Yes, that part, it can be challenging for us. And so sometimes what that looks like is the man is saying, hey, Sam, you talked about intimacy. Mm. And for women who have been hurt before, intimacy is scary. It's a scary thing because they've made an inner vow and they've said, what I ain't finna do is ever let me get hurt again.
Not doing it again.
Yeah. And so trying to reconnect with the man, trying to submit, right? Because to be his rib means like be in a place where we're caring for someone else and thinking about them, not ourselves per se in that moment, right? And so that means that my guard has to be down in order to do that. And that can be a very scary space for us. So I think that's important as well. Sam, question for you. how important is the concept of submission from a woman to you as a man? And even what does that mean to you when you hear submission? And then how important is that for you?
So here's an interesting thing for me. We talk about equal rights and, woman being equal with the man. It's not a competition.
Mm,
For me, for me, I believe a woman can do just about everything a man can do,
hmm
save those physical attributes that, hey, I'm stronger than a woman. Okay. So I'm going to break stuff. I'm going to do stuff differently.
Yeah.
But when we're doing things, having activities, a woman can do everything that I can do.
hmm
Me being her man says that she doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
She shouldn't have to.
hmm
You shouldn't be out there pumping your gas
Oh, say that
because
again, Sam, because
you
say it for the people in the
not, you should not ever go to a gas station. Because on Sunday night, at the very latest on Sunday night, your tank is full and you will go through the week. And if you need a refill, your man should be there taking care of it. You shouldn't have to take out the trash.
Mm,
You shouldn't have to, hey, he's
mm,
got that. But also, if there's a problem, you shouldn't have to deal with the problem by yourself.
mhm.
We have our ways. We have our ways of dealing with things. And that's the great thing about a rib. I
Yeah,
mean, you guys aren't as strong, women aren't as strong as us. So you have other ways of dealing with problems. Sometimes it's more subtle.
yeah.
Sometimes it's better. It's more something required. Yeah, everything doesn't need to end in a fight because, man is strong. So testosterone says,
Mhm,
hey, I'm going to
mhm,
fight this problem. Maybe
mhm,
not. Maybe you need to talk about it.
mhm,
And that woman being a capable rib, helping that man understand that, hey, maybe you need to talk about this.
mhm.
you know, Men holding other men accountable for
Yeah,
how they treat women.
yeah.
You know, and just not. You talked about fathering not being modeled for boys and girls.
Mhm,
Well, that can lead to, as you said, it could lead to a lack of confidence. Lack of confidence can lead to insecurity.
mhm,
Insecurity could lead to a whole lot of stress, and
mhm.
all of a sudden there's abuse.
Yeah.
And so the only way of getting out of that is education
Mhm,
and understanding and prayer. So, you know, I know a guy who horrible upbringing. Father was an alcoholic. He beat his mom. When this man became an adult, he got some education, he got some tools, and the one thing that he knew was that he didn't know what it was to be a father, but he knew what he needed as a kid. And he made it a point to give his sons, he had 3 sons, he
mhm,
gave his sons everything that he didn't get.
mhm, mhm,
Fantastic father.
mhm, mhm.
So, you know, that's
Yeah. I love what you said about that submission piece, and I think um, even as I'm using the languaging of submission, um, I'm really talking about two healthy individuals both being willing to um, to love the other person
mhm,
harder, more, and being willing to see how can I serve my partner. So both coming from that perspective, like how can I serve my partner? What can I do to make them feel better, their day better? Like how can I make life easier for this other person? And
mhm,
so I think coming from that perspective is important, but it is challenging when, like you said, there's upbringing, there's trauma, there's wounding, and not being able to readily pull from a picture, an example of what it looked like to be a rib, what it looked like to be a husband, a good husband. And so when we are, and I'm loving the conversation in the comments between the ladies about it's scary. Um, when you get into relationships, or maybe you haven't been in a relationship in a long time, and this whole idea of getting back into a relationship and serving someone else. And especially for us as women, if we've been told, serve what? Ain't nobody doing that. Right? You weak if you do that, right? Or things of that nature. It doesn't come easy. So I love that. And again, I want to just say, we can be triggered, and it's important to know what that looks like. And even when you're in relationship, scanning your body and noticing, how am I in this relationship? Do I often get triggered? Do I notice I tighten up? I'm holding my breath. That's a sign that, okay, yeah, this is bringing back memories. A lot of times when we're triggered, it has nothing to do with the present. It has to do with unresolved
Mm,
past
mm,
trauma,
mm,
right? Because and the partner, the husband, is like, what? I just asked you to what was for dinner tonight, and she's triggered because she's seeing her daddy, always, the mom was doing everything for the dad, and she felt like the dad was taking advantage of the mom, and felt like her mom was weak, and she made an inner vow that ain't gonna never be me. And so now fast forward to today, her husband is saying, hey, so what we gonna eat for dinner? And now she's like, what? He like, sis, I was hungry. Maybe we could order out, right? So it really does have to do with us dealing with the past. Chris had a question. Let's see. And great response, Sam, is what Brandy said. Chris said, when you haven't had a male role model, how do you become a role model yourself as a man? Let's talk about that, Sam.
Oh, that's an easy one for me. Um, and the only reason I say that is I was fortunate enough to have my dad. If there's a, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's Jesus's brother, but he was really, really strong about gender roles and making his boys do what they're supposed to do as young boys and young men and men. Um, for me, and you know, I have two sons. I haven't done this for girls. So for me, my two sons, I'm a fan of my two sons, and I was a fan and still am a fan of my two sons having at least two men
Mm,
outside of the family, two
mhm,
men that are men,
mhm.
that are great role models
Yeah.
out of the family that you trust, and that you take those children to them and say, hey, you can trust this guy. And y'all trade emails and phone numbers,
Mhm,
and at least one woman, an
mhm,
older woman that
mhm.
this person can trust,
Yeah.
because things happen with kids and they don't want to come to mom and dad.
Mhm, mhm.
And my friends will tell, I mean, they tell my sons, they're like, hey, if you come to me, I ain't telling him anything. If you say this is just between the two of us, then it's just between the two of us. And I'm sitting there and they're like, oh, he's going to kill us. No, he's not. No, I'm not.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
having other people outside of the family
Mhm.
or friends, because not all of us are blessed to have great people in our family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have to search for that and
Mhm.
find that. And then when you find a great person, they would definitely be willing to help mentor our children and help make sure that they become great men and women, positive members of society. So
Mhm.
I mean, to me, that's the answer. That's been the answer for me. It may
Mhm.
not be the answer for everybody, but you know, finding role models
Yeah.
and then asking those role models for help.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing I think that, you know, a parent can have is a friend that wants to invest in their children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's huge. That's,
Mhm.
I mean, I, I do have another comment, but I don't want to leave that yet if someone else has a question about that.
And I'm gonna say, let's see. So Abigail is saying, or even as an adult, surrounding yourself with those who mirror what you want to be or become.
Absolutely.
Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
Um, I love that. And I think that is important, right? This idea that we can't choose the family that we were born into,
It's true.
but we can choose to look for others that are healthy and connecting with them. And I think that part is really important. And one of the things that we do in our men's group is have this conglomerate of men, iron sharpening iron. And so being able to have that safe space where you can say, you know, I got questions. I don't know how to do this. What do y'all think? So being able to have those sounding boards is important, or having that great tribe. So I love that you brought that up.
Mhm.
What was the other piece that you wanted to say?
So just earlier when you were talking about submission,
Mhm.
I, what stresses men out and makes us feel useless and
Okay.
inadequate by our rib is sometimes when our rib is talking. We're doing a lot of talking, and when we hear a lot of talking, we think, okay, we need to go solve a problem because that's how we're wired.
Mhm.
You say something wrong, okay, baby, I need to fix that for you.
Mhm.
And we don't quite get it sometimes when you're just talking and
Yeah.
you don't want us to fix it,
Mhm.
but you don't tell us that either. And it's a problem
Yeah.
because now I can't help my woman.
Yeah.
I can't help my partner. And it's just, it becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think,
roll into a cycle of that.
yeah, yeah. Bridget said something about that earlier, recognizing that, there is a difference in communication between men and women.
Mhm.
But also women, when we are communicating, I have a brother who says all the time, like recognizing your audience.
Mhm.
Talk to me the way I talk. So sometimes, women, we're talking and we just know, like, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. That's maybe second nature and normal for women, but making our partner aware, hey, I got something I just want to get off my chest. I'm not looking for you to fix it. I just need to vent to you, right? So letting your partner know what it is you're looking for him in that moment, for or from him.
We
Um
get that disclaimer. We're like, whoa, child. All right. All right. Let's hear it. Let's do y'all night.
Yes, yes. And Rena is making a great point, which is we, when it comes to negativity, we get to choose
Mm.
who we have around us. And so I think that's really important. Even when it comes to family members, um, it's important you get to select what
Yes.
you're going to allow to continue to be around you. And Chris is saying we need to do a part 3. We will. So I want to thank you all for being here. These were really good questions, really good conversation. Thank you, Sam, for being willing to give your time, and share from your heart. So I really appreciate that. Listen, if this is your first time being with us, thank you. Come on back. We'll be here next Friday, 7 p.m. All things relationships. So come back next Friday. Share this. Like our let me see. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram, RDH Counseling and Consulting. So like us, follow us. We are also on YouTube. So subscribe, hit the bell so that you get notified every time we go live. They are loving you in the comments. Thank you, Colonel Hall. You rock. So it has been a pleasure. I want you all, those of y'all who are in relationships, those of y'all who are married, I want you to talk to your spouse. I want you to get their feedback. How have I been? For husbands, ask your wives, how have I been? Am I covering you the way you need to be covered? Do you feel safe? Do you feel protected? Do I make it easy for you to want to be my rib?
Here we go. Here we go.
And vice versa. So we're going to get into that. Maybe next week we'll be talking about that part, what that looks like. And then for the ladies, for the women, y'all go ahead, do your homework, and ask, how am I? Am I protecting you? Can I do a better job? And be willing to hear the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to hear the feedback. So y'all be blessed. Great job. So insightful. Thank you, Abby. All right, y'all be blessed. See y'all next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night. Let me put my music on as we get on up out of here. Bye, y'all. See y'all next time.